As the results of boards have been declared, now and making someone happier, someone content, whereas someone disappointed a little bit as well. Although I will always say that the grades don't define intelligence, but yes, they definitely give us recognition. So it's a continuous effort and nothing else, because the best view always comes after the toughest of climb, children. So class 8 pupils, let's make progress in the chapter Coal and Petroleum. So today in this lecture I am bringing coal as a whole. Yes, actually my ambition is to complete the topic coal. The start to finish initiative will be taken up, and that's why the topic is going to be very, very important and worth for you. So let us know more and more about coal. Coal, everybody has seen that it is a solid black and highly combustible fossil fuel that contains maximum amount of carbon in it. The single element carbon remains maximum in it. Carbon is a combustible element. It is a non-metal, and so whatever weight of the coal has been taken, minimum of its 50% of weight will be of just carbon. And if it is not good coal, then means the coal also varies from in its qualities. So if it is not a good coal, then rest of the 50% around can be some impurities as well, or if it is a good coal, then the percentage of the carbon will be much higher. So we will try to know that how does the formation of coals takes place. Coals actually have started forming in the marshy lands, wetlands, etc. around 290 to 360 million years ago. You can understand that it is what kind of your imagination can't reach even that period of time. And the process is called as Carboniferous age period. That time period is known as Carboniferous age, that era I mean to say. And the process by which the coal the wood, since it is a plant product, the wood converts into coal is called carbonization process. It is a kind of metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means what? If there is any change brought by the application of temperature and pressure, then we call it metamorphosis. So basically you might be knowing that there are types of rocks. These rocks are igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and the third one is metamorphic rock. What is metamorphic rock? Metamorphic rock is nothing but the converted rock. Converted rock from where? From the sedimentary and igneous. If the temperature and pressure is continuously applied over the sedimentary and igneous rock, then they get converted into metamorphic rock. So in other way, coal is also called metamorphic rock. So the site of formation of coal will be a swampy wetland where the groundwater is nearly or a little more above, means the level of the groundwater will be near to the topsoil, and that's why the flora, means the surrounding which is present in that topsoil and behind it, below it, will produce organic matter quickly, faster, because the topsoil is rich of the organic matter, so it will reach in the wetlands below the topsoil, and then it will start decomposing. What is the organic matter? It is rich in bacterial microorganisms, so it will start decomposing the buried wood. Wood get buried during the earthquake, etc. The whole bigger forested land get buried inside the wetland in the your earthquakes, and the slow temperature and pressure gets applied from the soil because they get buried. So overhead soil formation also takes place, and then from the soil the temperature and pressure is applied, and microorganisms also reach there because it is relatively upper layer of the soil. It is not very deeply buried. So and the sunlight also gives sufficient of heat energy. So in this process, in such kind of situation, the decomposition of the wood starts, and it starts converting into coal. So there are basically two main phases in the coal formation. First phase is your purification, and the second phase is your qualification. So what are purification and qualification? Let me take up one by one. Purification is nothing but the bacterial activity by which the decomposition starts on the wood, and this process is called purification. And then your what is your qualification? It is application of temperature and pressure which converts the wood into carbon. which is the metamorphosis process. Now I'll give you ideas about the types of coal. What are the different types of coal? Basically, there are 4 types of coal, boys. One is your first is your anthracite, which is the best type of coal because it has the highest percentage of carbon content in it. So means the quality of the coal is decided by the percentage of its carbon content. If the carbon is the combustible substance and coal is a fuel, naturally that fuel is good fuel which give higher calorific value, and higher calorific value will be only given if the combustible part in that fuel is high. So carbon is combustible part, and if it is high in percentage, the quality of the coal will be very refined quality. So anthracite is the best quality coal, very refined coal, and it does not need any purification because the purification of the coal is done. If the coal has lots of impurities, means the carbon content is low in the coal, then in that case we don't burn the coal directly to save our environment, because then it will give large amount of smoke and ashes, etc., which are the harmful gases, and it will destroy our air sanctity, the purity of the air. And that is why in that case we purify the coal. That is a different topic which I will be taking just now after finishing up types of coal. So anthracite, best type of coal. It does not need even much purification. It can be burned directly. Now the second type is your bituminous. Bituminous is a middle rank coal. The highest rank coal is your anthracite. The middle rank coal is your bituminous, which has 80 to 90%. So you can see the percentage of the carbon is going down here, whereas it was 95 to 98% in anthracite. Here it remained just 80 to 90%. It has around 10 to 20% impurities, so it will need purification, I meant to say. Lignite is the third type of coal. Means the third rank coal is your lignite, which has just 70 to 80% carbon content. Definitely it will need purification, and without purification it should never burn to save the environment. And when it is burned directly, it gives much smoke and flame. Then you know the unprepared coal, means the coal which is under the making itself, which is not the ready coal, is your peat, because the peat is the first stage in change of wood to coal. So it has just 60 to 70% carbon content, and legally it should not be mined because this coal is not ready. So these are the sites of the coal mines. If we find that it is a peat coal, after the testing of the carbon content in the coal, it is decided that what is the type of the coal. So if it has been found that the carbon content is low, and then it's peat coal, so it should not be scavenged. These are the 4 types of coal. Now what has remained to talk about is the purification of coal and its products. So purification of coal is actually a very interesting process that I am going to tell you, and it is done by a distillation process. That distillation process which is called destructive distillation process. In this type of purification process, coal which has been taken out from the mine is heated strongly, and that heating is not done in the presence of air, because when we heat the substance, and if it is a combustible substance like coal and air is also around, then it will burn. But we have to prevent the coal from burning. So that is why we do the heating in the airtight containers without air. Means in the absence of air it is heated, boys, and at high temperature. The temperature should be near about 1000 degrees Celsius. You can understand it's very high temperature. Now the process destructive distillation I am going to take up. In this process we will heat the coal, I have just told you, and in the absence of air we will heat. And in this heating process, the impurities of the coal, which now we are calling impurities, will become a useful coal products or byproducts. That I am going to tell you now. So here, boys, I have tried to show the laboratory method in which the destructive distillation can be carried out, just to understand what are the different steps involved in the destructive distillation, because the destructive distillation itself is an industrial process. So in the laboratory also, at a smaller scale, we can perform experiment to know about the steps involved in the purification of coal, and that's what I have tried to show you. It's very value based knowledge that I am going to give you. It is a hard glass test tube. Hard glass test tube we are taking because we have to heat it strongly and then we are keeping some coal powdered coal, normal coal. We have powdered it and we have kept it inside the test tube, and then a bent glass tube is applied and it is tightly closed by the rubber cork, and then that bent glass tube, which is also called delivery tube, is opening in another test tube in which the water is filled. Yes, water is filled in another test tube, and that test tube has an exit delivery tube also, what is the function of that exit tube, that I am going to tell you. So the coal is heated strongly with the help of the Bunsen burner, which is available in the lab, and then by the heating the coal will release some trapped gases, because the coal has gases like hydrogen, methane, sulfur dioxide, etc. also in it. So they start, then ammonia gas, they all start getting vaporized, because when the gas will be heated, it will go above, and then it will leave the coal, and then it will move from the coal and it will move in the delivery tube, because the test tube is closed. And then where it will come out, because the opening is given in the water filled test tube, so it will dissolve. All the gases are highly soluble in water, so they will dissolve. But coal has some organic compounds also. Lots of organic compounds are found in coal, and they are very oily substances. So these oily substances are very heavier compounds. That is why, and they are oily, so they will not mix up in the water, but they will settle down in the water because they are very heavy. And this is your coal tar, the heavier mixture of more than 200 compounds which settles at the bottom of the test tube is your coal tar. In the water, ammonia gas gets dissolved. Ammonia gas is highly soluble in water. It makes it ammonium hydroxide or ammoniacal liquor also we call it. It is also very useful product, ammonia gas. It is used in the fertilizers, etc. And then the coal gas, which is a highly inflammable combustible substance which gives very high calorific value, escapes from your test tube by the exit tube. And that's how the purification of the coal at a smaller scale, just to understand, in the laboratory we carry out. So in this purification process, not only coal is converted into coke, which is the first coal product. Coke is around 98 to 99% just carbon, which is used in the thermal power plants to produce electricity, and it is also used as a reducing agent in the metallurgical industry, where the metals are purified from the ores as a reducing agent. They are used heavily. Coke, what I mean to say, because it's the most useful coal product is your coke. Then secondly, it is your coal tar, which is I have told you that's a black sticky liquid which is produced in the your purification of coal, which is a mixture of more than 200 types of compounds. So this coal tar is an amazing liquid which is used in making various types of day-to-day life products, like your plastic, like your dyes, like your perfumes, etc. Many types of medicines, cleaners, all are prepared from your coal tar products. Coal tar itself is a liquid which undergoes fractional distillation process, and then the different compounds of the coal tars are separated. Then comes your ammonia, which is used in the fertilizers, like the ammonium phosphates, superphosphates, etc. are prepared, which is used in the cultivation agricultural process. And then ammonia gas is used as a coolant also. And then lastly, your coal gas, which is also known as a town gas, because what is the problem with the coal gas, that due to its little much explosive nature, because it is a combination of hydrogen, methane, carbon monoxide, steam, etc. So hydrogen is a highly combustible substance. It can't be transported, although it is a gaseous fuel, and gaseous fuels burn completely, so and gives very high calorific value, but it can't be transported because the transportation process is risky. So it is burned in the nearby area, in the villages where the destructive distillation plants has been started. There only the coal gas is burnt, or it is sent in the metallurgical industry to melt the metals or to the ores. Then coal gas is also used in burning the street light, because when the coal gas burns, it gives very high illumination. This was all about the coal, children. I hope that you might have enjoyed this session of coal, whole, which has been taken as a whole, as I have told you. So please keep studying, and this chapter will bring more knowledge about the fossil fuel in coming classes.